Trump is mad, and it's hilarious because the New York Times decided to hit him where it hurts the most, go for the jugular, and do an analysis comparing his crowd sizes to the crowd sizes of Vice President Kamala Harris. Because if we know one thing about Donald Trump, it's that he cares more about crowd sizes than perhaps anything else in his life, and this analysis is not good for him. It reads, Trump claims Harris's rallies are smaller, we counted. The sizable support VP Harris has generated at her rallies has rattled Donald Trump, who has emphasized, frequently exaggerating his crowd sizes for years. He has said, often repeating falsehoods, that his crowds are much larger than VP Harris's, and the Harris campaign has returned with their own jabs about the enthusiasm of Trump rally goers. We have a lot to break down. Let's start off with this video of Trump saying that his crowds are perhaps bigger than MLK Jr.'s, and this really lays the groundwork. It really demonstrates how much Trump cares about crowd sizes. Leave a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the Mockler channel. I'm wearing my Dark Brandon t-shirt 2024. Let's jump in with this video of Trump.
A small number of people relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of the crowd. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken, I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people. If not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd.
It's just so insanely deranged. He's comparing January 6th to MLK's biggest speech, and I think this perfectly shows how much Trump cares about crowd sizes. You know, I was thinking the other day, I think half of the reason Trump runs for president is because he has some weird fetish for seeing if he can continue to draw crowds and continue to draw crowds. And the answer may be a no nowadays because people rapidly seem to leave his crowds. Here's Trump still denying the size of Harris's crowds.
And you said Harris's crowd sizes were AI and that there weren't people there. There's all kinds of video evidence and people who were there who have proven that false. Can you tell us about why you made that claim?
Well, I can't say what was there, who was there. I can only tell you about ours. We have the biggest crowds ever in the history of politics. We have crowds that nobody's ever seen before, and we continue to have that. We have a level of enthusiasm that nobody's seen before. They want to.
Okay, so a few things. Trump is always using the strategy of lie, deflect, attack, never admit defeat. So when VP Harris begins to draw massive crowd sizes, he makes up theories about AI crowds. And then when he's asked about those AI crowds, he says, you know, I know nothing about that. All I know is that we have the largest crowd sizes. But the thing about the AI crowds is that, I say this all the time, Trump is like the QAnon mob boss in a video game, at the end of a video game, because he has a direct line to millions of other impressionable QAnon Americans who trust everything that he says. If Donald Trump says that VP Harris's crowd sizes are AI, then he has that sway. He can convince people of that easily with one post. If Donald Trump says that he doesn't go to the bathroom like Kim Jong-un, people would believe that immediately. That brings us to Donald Trump's Truth Social post today, and then we'll break down that article. He posted 6 hours ago randomly, I saved flavored vaping in 2019, and it greatly helped people get off smoking. I raised the age to 21, keeping it away from the kids. Kamala and Joe want everything banned, killing small businesses all over the country. I'll save vaping again. He then said, how bad is it when a candidate running for office makes a major part of her campaign that she works at McDonald's and it turns out not to be true, but the worst part is the media refuses to talk about it. He then posted a trailer for the new movie of Dinesh D'Souza, and Dinesh has been arrested multiple times, and his past 4 movies have come out as complete bunk. I mean, we knew they were bunk, but he himself had to say they were bunk in court. He then cites Rasmussen polls. Now that the polls have been swapping and VP Harris has been rapidly gaining ground, Trump is a lot more hesitant to share the polls. I mean, a few months back when Biden was still running, Trump would share polls every single day, whether it was CNN or whether it was Ipsos. No matter what the poll was, he would share it. Now, he's obviously a little bit rattled. He then boosts an Elon Musk post. It says, if Iran, Putin, and Dick Cheney are on your side, you're not the good guys. And essentially, it quotes this article of Iran attempting to pass hacked Trump campaign info to Biden campaign, but they were trying to bait Biden officials into posting foreign intelligence, so the big scandal would be that the Biden campaign is working with Iran, but the Biden officials didn't bite. The Biden officials are way smarter than the Trump campaign officials. They didn't bite. Can I also point out, Trump on Truth Social has been boosting Benny Johnson, posts from Tim Pool, posts from the creators that were caught up in that Russian scheme. He still doesn't care. Trump makes all of these posts, and that brings us on to this article. The New York Times attended 6 rallies, every campaign event that the campaigns held within a 3-week period in August, across 6 states, taking photographs and capturing video and 360-degree footage to analyze which claims on the crowd sizes hold weight. So this is a thorough analysis. The analysis found that despite Mr. Trump's claims, both candidates draw comparably big crowd sizes, and I'm sure it depends on the location, on the date. We've been to Trump rallies on Wednesdays that are pretty much empty, but then a rally on a Saturday in that same town is a lot bigger. That's my personal experience. Same thing with Harris rallies. On a Friday night, Mr. Trump drew 11,500 people to a Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, and here is what it looked like. We can scroll through, we can see the arena. It looks like it is pretty packed. You can see some empty seats, a lot of empty seats, but the interesting thing is the crowd at Mr. Trump's event filled at about 60% capacity, 60% of the seats. Some people left their seats later during Mr. Trump's speech, which went on for an hour and a half. On Tuesday night, during the week-long Democratic National Convention, Ms. Harris drew 12,800 people, more than Donald Trump, at the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. Here we go, right here. The DJ played music, it says. The campaign slogan is freedom, which is simple. Ms. Harris led the crowd chants. The capacity is more so than Donald Trump's. They filled it even more, 70% capacity. Let's go, VP Harris. The other 4 campaign events that the Times attended were similarly packed, with audience members generally filling up the space designated for the event. The rallies took place at venues with maximum capacities ranging from 6,800 to 20,000 people. Here's where it gets interesting. The New York Times has evidence that Trump's crowd sizes thin as he keeps speaking. Here it reads, experts say the crowd sizes at rallies do not have a direct relationship to winning or losing an election. For one, event organizers may strategically choose venues with a small capacity. I mean, we know this. It also says the day of the week and the time of day can also affect the size. If crowd sizes really mattered, then Bernie Sanders would have swept back in 2020. Bernie Sanders held massive crowd sizes, but young people didn't show up to vote like they said they would. Still, crowd sizes have been a sensitive subject for Mr. Trump throughout his political career, his fixation intensifying as of late as enthusiasm has ballooned for the new Democratic ticket. So Trump can't handle having Obama-type enthusiasm facing him. Mr. Trump falsely claimed that photographs of the crowds at Mrs. Harris events are AI. In response, the VP Harris campaign posted a video compilation of moments during Trump's rallies in which audience members are seen yawning, and also wrote in a separate post on Truth Social that members of Trump's audience left the event in Pennsylvania early, leaving even more empty seats. The Times found that people did leave early from 2 of 3 of Mr. Trump's events, including while he was delivering the speech. Photographs taken over the course of Donald Trump's rally show where people left their seats. Below is a series of photographs taken 13 minutes in and then an hour and 5 minutes in. On the left, we see right here, it's pretty much full. People do wait a while. On the right, most of those seats are gone. Look at, most of the seats are genuinely gone. Let's scroll down to the next one. We see it is filled up with Trump supporters 13 minutes into the speech, but an hour in, most of the seats are gone. Look at this comparison. Let's scroll down one more. This is a high quality photo showing Trump supporters are in this seat. We scroll over to the right. Many of those seats are now empty. The Trump supporters actually left. Here we go. Here are more examples of crowds thinning. Seats emptied in Glendale, Arizona. This is about 6 minutes into the rally. We scroll over to the right. Many of the seats are gone after an hour and 14 minutes. And it's funny because it's clearly because Trump is so incredibly unhinged. Right here, we have more seats full with Trump supporters. To the right, most of them are gone while Trump is still speaking. And I know that he notices this. He definitely looks into the crowd. Let's go down one more. I mean, this is so cathartic seeing all of these people slowly leave. When we scroll over, look at the difference. Most of these seats over here on the left-hand side, in the bottom left and middle left section, and even on the right are empty, and they were full before. They absolutely were full. We can go down even more. The Trump supporters are thrilled to be there. It's like seeing your favorite celebrity. And here's my theory. It's not even a theory. I've seen this happen. You can see the Trump supporters in this crowd taking photos, taking videos at the bottom. They all have their phone up. They want to be able to say they saw this celebrity president, but they don't actually care enough to stay throughout the entire speech. They don't care about the substance of what Trump is saying at all. The longer duration of a Trump event compared to a Harris one may have contributed to a greater number of early exits. Trump rally-goers typically arrived earlier in the day because they're cults, it's cult-like, and opening speeches tend to start earlier and last longer, and then they leave while Trump is speaking. They also took 360-degree photos. This is absolutely insane right here. They have the entire stadium mapped out. Cool technology. So yeah, let me know what you think. I want to leave you with this video of Hillary Clinton talking about how easily Donald Trump can be baited with crowd sizes.
He's definitely baitable because he has a very fragile ego that has to be constantly buttressed, and people have to tell him how great he is, and he has to tell himself how great he is, and he has to have people around him who, you know, are constantly, you know, just giving him all of this, you know, emotional support. And so part of what she did so well was, you know, I was baiting him about nuclear weapons, which I think is kind of important. She baited him about his crowd size. And so we learned a lot about how to expose him. You know, he doesn't care about nuclear weapons. He doesn't care about policy, but his crowd size. And so,
well said from Hillary Clinton. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment a blue heart. Make sure you subscribe to the Adam Mockler channel. You can see these mugs in the description below. Use code BLUEHEART for 15% off. It's all in the description below, and have a great rest of your day. Peace out.